I'm sorry, we're just going to cut to the subject too because, time is of the essence. Right?
It is going to run low too. Yeah.
We got to get done.
Chris.
Okay,
that's Chris. Chris is the man when it comes to that.
So once again, thank you guys for coming, my guys, people that just came. We're going to go around the room in a minute just to do an introduction on everybody, but not now. We're going to kind of get settled in. But subject 2. So everybody, subject 2 is kind of like my sweet spot. Does anybody follow my content at all about sub 2? Okay, here, a couple guys. So subject 2. The existing financing. So Eric, you probably already know this stuff, some of this stuff. The reason I want to tell you about subject 2 tonight is because if you look back in time over the last 2 years, it's been the lowest interest rates ever, right? And subject 2 is where we go in and actually take over mortgage payments from sellers. So when you look back, as you can look back, 2019, 2021, the interest rates were so low. We are going to be able to cash flow these properties if we understand the subject 2 strategy. Buying a house subject 2 is nothing but taking over the seller's mortgage payments, period. Now, a lot of us might think, just like I did, that money and real estate, they go together, right? I just want to make sure that everybody understands that money and real estate, they do not go together regarding financing and loans and mortgages. Does everybody know that?
Yeah. Yep.
You already know that stuff. Okay, well, I didn't know. When I first started, I thought...
You told me. Thank you, Chris. You're the best.
You don't count, man. All right, money and real estate don't go together, all right? I need everybody to understand that. They're unlocked. They do not match, all right? Just like I thought this when I started this business, I'm like, well, you cancel the property because you owe too much on the property, right? So the loan and the real estate, they don't go together, right? So everybody repeat after me. The financing in a house don't go together.
Financing in the house don't go together.
Y'all sound like y'all real dead.
Chris, you know what? I think everyone, when you asked that question originally, they were thinking and processing it one way, but you're about to blow their mind when you give them the actual reasoning why they don't go together.
I think we're thinking of hors d'oeuvres.
They're coming out. That's what I just went and told them. Get it out here.
Get out. So my man here didn't quite understand too. So it's a few. I want to make sure that I move. I don't want to not give you enough. Some people know already. I don't want to skip over some things, so I'll go fast in respect to everybody's time, including yours. So financing and real estate, they don't go together, right? And the majority of this room already knows that, but some people don't. Financing and real estate, what has happened in America is that finance companies have tried to link properties together with the loans, right? But they do not go together. Just like when you have Wells Fargo can sell a loan to Bank of America, can sell a loan to Regions, to a credit union. They sell these loans all the time, every day, right? Everybody familiar with loans being sold? You never get a call, do you? Nope. You have never received a call. Well, let me see. I haven't. So we got financing here and real estate here. Every time these loans are sold, matter of fact, sometimes they're sold the same day you get them. You might close a loan and then the next with I don't know, Airmark loan company, then they'll sell it. Just get all questions, write your questions down so we can kind of get through the stuff. You might close a loan today, they'll sell it tomorrow, right? But that doesn't mean that you still don't own the house. I like this guy's face here. He's getting it in, man.
Yeah, you can see he's sucking it all in. Look at him.
You're not a loan officer, are you? What is it?
Chris.
One up. Yeah, I'll take it.
I work all New Jersey housing as if it has a deed restriction.
Let's just say generally speaking.
Yeah.
There are always things to catch this thing up, They could have a deed restriction. Yeah, give me one. They could have a deed restriction, but you're right. That is a quotable.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I don't want to bring them. Do I need to open their minds up before I tell them they can't?
Your appetite here, good, bro.
So generally speaking, now there are always, as my friend, is it Gerald?
Gerald, yeah.
Gerald, my friend Gerald, so reminded me that yes, there are ways to get this thing tripped up. However, generally speaking, the loan doesn't go with the property, right? So you might have thought that like I did. When I sold the majority of my houses, I had to pay off that loan. And I'm here to tell you today, that you do not have to pay off the mortgage in order to sell a house. All right, you do not have to do that.
Listen to what he just said, guys. You do not have to pay off the loan to sell the house.
The mortgage. Yeah.
The mortgage, rather. Listen to what he just said. This is huge. Sorry, Chris.
Why did you? I can't see your name. Why did you make the name so small?
Chris Capers.
Chris. All right. All I need is the first name, Eddie. So in essence, what we do with subject to, we buy the property subject to the existing finance, and we keep it in place. Is that oysters? Oh man, my favorite. No doubt, Nick.
The oysters for me.
So there's a strategy.
That's what I want.
Okay, so now that we know, class, that loans and mortgages are not linked
So
to
you
the
do
property.
not have to sell when you don't have to get rid of the mortgage to sell the home.
Nope. No. Now that we know that, everybody says yes.
Yeah.
I know that. Yes, you know that. Okay.
You know that.
How many people feeling good about subject to?
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
All right, so I live in a house that I bought subject to. I just bought one. We buy them all the time, right? I mean, so many different strategies you can do. But as long as when you walk out of this room today, you understand that the mortgage does not linked to the property. The mortgage can be sold while you still own it. Here we go. Just like you can sell it as many times as you want with the mortgage in place. All right, let me repeat that. You own the property, here's the finance company. Good. That finance company can sell as much as they want without notifying you, right? Same concept. You can sell, boom, 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 and have the same financing, all right? Now, all the moving parts, we'll get to a little bit of that today, but today, my goal for today was just to make sure that we all are on the same page. Specifically because when we take over these payments from the finance over the last 3 years, those payments are going to be extremely low.
But
Extremely low.
You say extremely low from what they were existing, from what they were existing before, or
Yeah,
you changed?
interest. I'm sorry, not the payment. The interest rates, because the interest rates from 2019, 2021. Oh, my second favorite, muscle.
Oh, I want some of that.
What kind of steak?
I thought we were just having lunch.
Medium.
Steak, salmon, chicken.
Everybody's eating there. You got. I can't compete with food. All right, so we now just like you got to think about your car because I do Turo now, and everybody has gotten a car loan. Your title to the car, the lender is on the deed. It's not how real estate works. The lender is on another document. He's on the mortgage. So it's not like the deed. When you have a deed to a piece of real estate, the lender is not on there, right? It's just your name. So that mortgage or deed of trust is what we are in Virginia. I don't know what you guys here are.
Deed of trust.
Deed of trust state. That's a whole other document. Has nothing to do with the deed to the property. All right, so the deed of trust goes here, deed over here. You can transfer that deed. I'm living proof. I've transferred those deeds several times from owner to owner to owner. I've sold them, bought them with that same financing in place from the original seller or the original homeowner. So subject to is a strategy that I'm going to hope that all of us kind of dig deeper into as we move into these interest rates. I know Welby's happy. The interest rates are going up. When you take over these interest rates of lower interest rates, those payments we're going to presume that are going to be low. And what I need everybody to understand is, it doesn't matter what the payment is.
Guys, listen up, man, because this is. I think you guys are missing this opportunity.
To get the food.
Can you bring that back again, sir?
It doesn't matter what the payment is. If the homeowner can't afford the payment, it does not matter how small it is. I bought homes from people subject to where the payment was $75 a month. When someone gets into trouble and they can't afford the payment, it doesn't matter what that payment is. It just doesn't matter. I'll never forget. I took the guy to lunch, Mike. I just remember like the guy, I looked at his mortgage payment. His payment was $75 a month. I had to take a big gulp. He owed like 50 grand. It was a line of credit. I had to take a big gulp of empathy, humility, and compassion when I'm sitting with a man and I know his payment is $75 and I know I spend more on that on a few drinks when I'm talking to him. So what I'm saying, we have to swallow, we have to swallow empathy when we're selling, when we're buying from these people, because when the interest rate is low, their payment is hopefully a little lower. in comparison to the house that they bought, hopefully. So when you go in, you have to have empathy. When you talk to these people, Miss Smith, whatever the payment is, I understand you're going through hard times. We're gonna see if we're gonna take over your payments and all that stuff. Cash flow easier, presumably. Write the questions down for the end. We'll go over that at the end. So interest rates that are lower, we're gonna step in and take over these low interest, hopefully low mortgage payments for more of a house. All right, so everybody repeat after me. Subject to. All right, you got it.
So you're gonna eat food.
That's my piece for. Oh man, kielbasa too.
Guys, I want to point something out. Do you guys truly understand what Kris is saying?
No.
I didn't think so because everybody's too preoccupied.
100, man.
What Kris is saying, look, you go to the seller. You tell the seller in simplistic terms, I'm buying your house, but we're going to keep the mortgage in your name. I'm going to keep making the payments. I'm going to give you $10,000, $20,000, sometimes nothing, because they want out of the house. Sometimes it's an estate. Sometimes it's people that are going into an old age home. There's multiple reasons why they're willing to do this. Now, the reality is that's going to be hard to happen in the Northeast. Especially in New York and New Jersey, where we're litigation states. But once you leave New York and New Jersey, it's a whole lot easier once you go down south, Midwest.
Why is that?
Because those aren't litigation states.
Now this
Think
is where
about
me
a
and Dan
closing in
differ.
New York.
Me and
Think
Dan
about a
differ.
closing in New York. How many people at a closing in New York? Answer that. How many people are sitting at that closing?
6, 7,
6, 7, right? I do closings in New Jersey. There's 2 people. Right, David?
Oh, yeah? Maybe. Nice.
I go to Florida, there's nobody. Everything's done with FedEx. Yeah, it's just, it's not litigation states. Unlike New York. So, I'm sorry, what was it saying?
Does that make subject to easy or hard if you say this? Make
It's harder in New York because it's a litigation state.
Harder.
Okay, harder.
It's not impossible, it's harder.
I'm good with.
Once you leave New York, it's a lot easier.
What about Connecticut?
Slightly easier, not much easier.
How do you lock in one of those like contracts or anything? Like how would you go about locking that subject to it?
Tasha, make sure you get your question too. I don't want to miss you.
Okay.
It's all about the magical words. You cannot go to a seller and say, Miss Smith, I'm going to buy your house subject to. That won't work. Do not do that ever. Okay, so I do have, if anybody is kind of new to this thing, RAIfoundations.com. RAIfoundations.com is my entry-level course where it's going to give you the 15 ways we do business. But there's some magical words. It would take me some training to kind of get in and do all that. But we have words that we use with sellers. Where's your name tag? Antonio. We have magical words. And no, you cannot use subject to, and you can't just walk in there and say, I'm gonna take over your payment. There's a way we have to walk them down.
Okay.
Yes. Good question though. Tasha, you had something too? Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Hawaii, I'm glad you came.
I was just going to touch on the fact that you were saying that the house and finances don't go together. I look at it as the financing is the security, and then the house is actually the ownership. So the ownership and
There you
the
go.
security don't go together.
Right.
That's a
But
good
I
way of
think
looking
we're
at it.
tricked though. My whole point is we're just tricked. I don't know about everybody else.
100% I agree with you.
Me too.
Because it kind of mushes everything together, so it makes you think that each travels around
They go together.
the other, and it doesn't.
Yep.
It doesn't.
Loans are sold every day.
As long as that bank getting their money, they're not going to ask any questions
No,
about what's going on with the property.
they're not
I
gonna,
haven't.
I mean, guys, this is a part I'll have to cut out of the video, but all of us up here, all 4 of us, I bought property in my personal name to get the lower interest rate, transferred it 6 months later to an LLC to cover ourselves liability wise, right?
An investment property?
Yeah. Now, as long as I'm making that payment, I'm not giving them a reason to look at me. I stop making that payment, I'm giving them a reason to look at me. That's what Kris is doing with a subject to.
You're making a payment.
He keeps making the payment. There's no reason for them to look at him. There's no reason to go say, oh, wait a minute, the deed's been transferred.
Why would they?
The bank's
It's not
getting
even a
paid.
protocol.
Now listen, I'm not telling you you may not get caught. You may.
When you say get caught,
In my sense, when I say
illegal.
What happens?
it's actually not.
do on
It's not.
Don't say get caught. Do on. They may call alone.
What happens when the bank finds out that the deed was transferred? Chris?
Well, you got a few options. We could pay it off, which might not be an option. You could always just sell the house. If everybody's scared, oh, I'm scared. What if the bank calls the loan? There's something called the due on sale clause. The due on sale clause says the lender may call the bank due if they find out the title was transferred. The lender may, right?
The lender made what again? I'm sorry.
Call the loan due.
Okay.
So if you transfer title in the documents that the homeowner signs, there's a due on sale clause. I want one oyster. There's a due on sale clause. Now, if that keeps you up at night, you may not want to do a subject to. It does not keep me up at night. I just do not care. Because if the bank does call the loan due, I'll sell it, refinance it, pay it off, whatever. But if that keeps you up at night, this is not a strategy for you. I just knew, from my perspective, that the banks were not going to finance my real estate empire. It just wasn't in their cards for me. You know, so everybody's different. They got different ways they do it. So on the subject to deal, you do have a possibility where the bank will say, Dan, you transferred title, we're going to call that loan due. So the whole $300,000 is due in the next 3 to 6 months. Right? So you can sell it, refinance it. You can try to sue the bank. There's so many ways you can
But Chris, out of all the deals you've done, how many times has that happened?
None.
Okay. Go with that.
Well, I don't want y'all to take my word for it. My mentors have done hundreds. I mean, I can't even. I have another mentor that's done over 1,000. You know, and they've had 2 loans called. I'm like, man, 2 out of a couple thousand. Those are good odds. I'm good. So I would go with that. Go ahead. What's your name tag? Y'all didn't need a name tag. What's
They came in late. Yeah.
Can y'all pass the name tags over there at the corner there? Oh, in the bag, in the elephant bag.
Chris, my name is Kristen, but you can call me Chris.
Cool. Okay, I want some muscle split.
It sounds like it's not like you get arrested. The risky part is just that money's involved.
I'm good. Thank you.
The risky part is what?
The money's involved, so you have to figure out how to pay it back.
Well, I mean, you may have to, but let's think about it. You have to really, for me, I just go through logical processes, and not to say that banks are logical, because we all know that they aren't. But I've had sellers call mortgage companies that Chris bought my house, and I don't want to hold this loan in my name anymore. There literally, Chris, is no protocol for a mortgage company, and I'm not asking you to take my word for it. They don't have a protocol if the loan is current. If your loan is current, there is no protocol to say, well, we never got to go to lost mint. It's just no protocol. Now, the protocol comes in after 30 to 60. It's either 30 or 60. Now, they could possibly open up the file if you're 30 to 60 days behind. But I've tried it. Like, listen, I don't own this loan anymore. They're like, we don't even know what department to send you to because the loan is current.
Yeah,
you know,
we're getting our money.
Yeah, I'm really not trying to be satiristic about it. It's just kind of like, who addresses this situation where the title is not my name and the loan's current? It's almost like, why you call it?
There's no problem.
The loss mitigation department handles trouble loans that are behind it.
The muscles? No, that damn.
You go.
Right here? Let's see if you get that phone call.
What phone call? What phone call? Hold on, guys. I can't.
What you know about that?
I'm gonna have to try it.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
I think Tabasco sauce just goes.
Listen, we needed this. If it wasn't in the building, they would.
I've seen it. Hold on, I can't hear him, guys. I can't hear him.
Had the house.
Is it up to them? The bank say we want the money tomorrow?
Yes, the bank will say. Usually, what I have seen one letter from. If you go to Bigger Pockets, you can search in due on sale clause, and you can see people around the country. They'll put the letters up there. I've seen 30 days. I've seen 6 months. I've seen 12 months. So it's not like you want the money tomorrow, and you can figure out ways. If you file a list pendants against the property, they can't even foreclose anyway.
Chris, let me ask you a question. You might be able to even renegotiate with the bank to put it under your name, no?
Yes, you can do what some people call these subject to non-qualifying assumptions. If you're dealing with real estate professionals that don't want to walk that subject to walk or talk, but then you have to do a qualifying assumption.
We switch it over. It's just like the subject too. If they found that out, or if they choose to, they could call in the loan.
You're still the owner, so you're the owner either way.
They could still call in the loan though, because we took it out of title. However, I don't care. I'll figure it out.
You can switch it back.
We can switch it back, or they could turn around and say we're gonna get paid in 30 days. I said, yeah, let's see how that happens.
If
you sue me, I'm gonna hold you up in court for the next 3 years.
It's true.
Right. So I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna go get the property refinanced. I'm gonna go get a private loan. I'm gonna dip into my pockets. We're gonna figure this out.
But let's stay there, because
do you see where that's what the same thing is with a subject too? If they should do the due on clause, you have time to figure it out.
You could deed it back to the seller and then do a lease option. I forgot about that one. Just get the seller, because you have the power of attorney with the docs. Get the seller to come back in and then lease option.
Here's why it's so important what you guys are talking about, right? Because I'm sure a lot of you guys have done gotten books or watched YouTube videos and things of that nature, and you think that, damn, I got it. Like the conversations that you have with a mentor, there's a certain kind of conversation that you have that you can't, there's no way to put it in a book. Not because you're hiding something or not, it's just you really can't put it into a book for you to vibe with me to understand how I go about doing this or that. You understand? So getting with Kris, he would, getting with me, getting with these guys, could put you on a trajectory that you didn't even think was possible. Because a lot of the stuff that we've been through, that we got burnt through doing, you don't have to go through the same mess that we did. So even when I'm hearing Kris speak, I'm like, yo, damn, in Connecticut, man, I gotta apply that. Yo, Kris, listen, bro. Yeah. You know. So that's the thing. So a lot of the things you're gonna get, you're never gonna get it from a book. That's why the influences that you guys follow and you listen to and y'all watch, that I'm always attacking. These bozos don't know what the hell they doing. They read it out of a book and then they throw it out to you guys, throw the information out to you guys, and it sounds wonderful. But when you start having things thrown at you that you have to have tools in your belt to be able to pivot, they don't have that. So then they just leave you hanging by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
good point.
The information is really good.
To feed off of that, there's no way. People have told me, hey, this is what, let's just say you want to buy a house, right? This is what I want to pay. When you tell them this, what if they say this? When you say this, I can't give you that answer.
You never know.
Right? What we're doing here is exactly that, right? So we can basically go through scenarios, and Jose and I have literally done this for an hour on the phone before we come up with like, that's where we're gonna go. That's the plan of attack. But that plan of attack may change in an instant based on the questions and answers that are coming back and forth from the people in front of you. So the reason I bring that up is because the reason we're here is to give you the opportunity to give us those questions and answers that honestly, you don't even know what the questions you have yet.
Nope, you don't know what you don't know.
When you hear something we might say, bring those questions about. Because we don't know, we may or may not know the answers, but we're here masterminding, and that's the reason this is happening.